IHS Aerospace Defense and Security provides military and national security organizations with the most up-to-date information and analysis available to anticipate future global tensions, allowing them to plan effective, appropriate responses to emerging threats. With the recent escalation in Yemen, we look to understand recent insurgent and foreign-led events, examining the insurgent activities around Sana'a, airstrikes on strategic targets, and the feasibility of an emergency extraction plan. The first thing we want to understand is what type of insurgent activity is happening around the Sana'a area. In order to do that, we will utilize the IHS Jane's Terrorism and Insurgency Center, filter down to the Gulf State region, and then select Sana'a from the list. This provides us with information on the amount of attacks and the types of attacks performed by insurgency groups in that area. Then, to understand the airstrikes on strategic targets, we utilize Airbus Defense and Space's satellite imagery. We now start to see the effects on the civilian airport and military airbase strikes. We then look to understand the counter-terrorism activity in this area to see where there have been strategic airstrikes from the Saudis. The yellow dots on the map represent the counter-terrorism events, providing a detailed analysis of where these operations are taking place. By clicking on these events, we see that the Saudis have targeted the Ansar Allah positions in Yemen, Sana'a. Next, utilizing the most current satellite imagery available, we are able to understand the scope and extent of damage during this time frame. Viewing each satellite image, we can see how these particular targets have been affected or destroyed. We can also see impact points and probable repair impact points. Moving forward in time, we see additional targets affected or destroyed. We now want to understand the type of aircraft that is in service in Yemen, utilizing our satellite imagery and the Air Force Inventory analytic tool. First, we measure the wingspan of the aircraft. Then take this information and compare it to the aircraft inventory database. As you can see, we have several aircraft results. Now that we have determined what aircraft are in service, we want to understand their specifications, so we select attack aircraft, fighter aircraft, and multi-role aircraft from the list. We then filter down further by selecting MiG, Northrop Grumman, and Sukhoi. Finally, selecting wingspan from the drop-down list, entering the measurements in meters of the aircraft measured from the satellite imagery. The results return a MiG-29, which is known to be in Yemen service and matches the wingspan measured. We can then cross-reference this information with the schematic drawings that are available to ensure our findings are correct. To determine the evacuation feasibility in Yemen, our IHS image analysts measured the undamaged portion of the runway. This measures 2,300 meters. Using this information, we now need to determine what transport aircraft will be capable of taking off within the undamaged portion of the runway. We see that the C-130J has been identified as a possible candidate. By clicking on the detailed specifications for this aircraft, we can review the data regarding takeoff field length and rate of climb. Based on the C-130J specifications, this aircraft is able to meet the takeoff requirements. We now want to determine the unrefueled range for this aircraft. Using our detailed specifications, we can determine that the distance between Riyadh and Sana'a is possible and the C-130J can support an evacuation mission. Finally, we can identify any potential threats to the C-130J during its mission. As we can see, an insurgency group active in this area possesses the Strela 2 in its arsenal. We can also review the capability of this particular weapon and determine if it's a substantial threat. Understanding the climb capability of the C-130J, we are able to determine the threat exposure for this aircraft is approximately 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Using the combined areas of content from IHS Aerospace Defense and Security Solutions, we successfully determined operational outcome in the area and conducted the feasibility study to help support a future objective. Only IHS delivers combined world-leading aerospace, defense, and security expertise and open-source intelligence to support critical military and national security multi-source analysis. And it is why military and national security leaders trust IHS Aerospace Defense and Security to help plan for critical missions operations, delivering accurate, verified, and timely intelligence to ensure mission success. To learn more about IHS military and national security capabilities, please contact us today.